Okay, well, thank you very much sa mga kababayan ko dito po sa Malaysia, particularly dito po sa Sabah. Ito po si Nico. Once again, nandito po sa programa natin na Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. And of course, ang topic natin ngayon, parehas din, no? Tungkol sa impeachment of Inday Sara Duterte. Ano mangyari po next week? That will be on Wednesday, June 11, no? June 11. Matuloy ba ang impeachment ni Inday Sara Duterte or hindi, no? Ang daming haka-haka, no? Ang daming haka-haka sa impeachment trial ni Inday Sara Duterte. Some are saying na hindi matuloy, others are saying matuloy ang impeachment. So, hintay na lang ilang tulog na lang tayo po. By Wednesday, malaman na natin po because fixed na ang date, June 11 for the reading of the impeachment trial of reading of articles of the impeachment trial of Inday Sara Duterte. So, kumusta kayo? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And magandang araw sa inyong lahat, mga kababayan ko dito po sa Malaysia, sa Sabah. And mga overseas Filipino workers who are tuning sa Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico at this very moment. Kumusta kayo po? And I hope everything is running smoothly sa mga buhay ninyo, no? Sa mga buhay ninyo. And we hope and pray that matapos na itong mga problema ng Pilipinas, no? Ang dami tayong problema and nandito pa ang impeachment file ni Inday Sara Duterte. So, let's sige, tuloy natin ang programa natin. But before giving you ang mga whatever updates mayroon ako dito para sa inyo ngayon sa programa Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. If you notice, medyo for the past 1 or 2 days po, palagi na umuulan na dito po sa Sabah. Mas lalo na po dyan sa Pilipinas dahil ang Philippines Weather Department, ang pag-asa, they already announced na dumating na po ang rainy season sa Philippines. And kung may mga low pressure areas experience dyan po sa Pilipinas, definitely ang Sabah, because malapit tayo sa Pilipinas, we are also experiencing almost the same downpour. And as a result of this heavy downpour, dito po sa Sabah, particularly dito po din sa Kota Kinabalu, we also experience a flash flood. So, ingat lang tayo po. All mga, sabihin natin, mga Filipino drivers dito sa Malaysia or dito sa Sabah, mga Filipinos going to work, make sure na you bring protections, no, in the event. Nakalis kayo sa bahay ninyo. Mainit. And all of a sudden, kasi unpredictable ang weather dito po. So, all of a sudden, umulan. So, at least, mayroon kayo mga umbrellas, mga jacket, or whatever for you to cover your self kung may ulan or if it is heavily or experiencing heavy downpour. So, ingat lang kayo po and make sure that safety first. Safety first. So, unang-una, I would like to share with you ang weather forecast dyan po sa Pilipinas, no? As of today. And it was reported dyan po sa Pilipinas ang pag-asa, ang weather department. Let's listen first sa weather forecast as announced today by Pag-asa or the Weather Bureau dyan po sa Pilipinas. Nandito po.
Isang mabilisang ulat panahon at mahalagang paalaala ang aking ibabahagi po sa inyo lahat. Muli pong nagpaalaala o nagbabala ang Pag-asa sa ating lahat mga kababayan sa banta po ng malalakas na ulan. Kaugnay po yan sa epekto ng southwest monsoon o habagat at ang low pressure area na patuloy pa rin po nilang binabantayan. Ayon po sa Pag-asa, ilang bahagi po ng Luzon kabilang na ang Central Luzon, Visayas at ilang bahagi din po ng Mindanao ang makakaranas ng maulan na panahon hindi lang po ngayon. Dahil hanggang sa mga susunod pa po na araw ay makakaranas pa rin po tayo ng maulan na panahon Dahil nga po yan sa epekto ng habagat at low pressure area. Kaya nagbabala po ang pag-asa sa mga bahain na lugar, lalo na po sa landslide prone area. Hanggat maaari po maging alerto po kayo. Dahil hindi pa man tuluyan na naging bagyo ang low pressure area na kanilang binabantayan. Marami pong ulan o tubig ang ibinabagsak ng habagat at low pressure area na siyang dulot ng pagbaha at pagguho ng lupa sa ilang bahagi o lugar sa ating bansa, mga kababayan. Dahil ayon po sa pag-asa, hindi po nila isinasantabi na posible pa rin na maging bagyo o bagyong Auring ang low pressure area na kanilang binabantayan sa mga susunod na araw.
Alright, yan po ang weather forecast updates regarding ang weather condition dyan po sa Pilipinas. I am sharing this sa programa po for ang mga kababayan natin po dito sa Sabah. They will know what is happening dyan po sa beloved motherland natin sa Pilipinas po. Kasi we left behind itong mga overseas Filipino workers, they left behind their loved ones dyan po sa Pilipinas, all for the name of love and a better future for their loved ones. Kaya nga, nasa labas sila ng Pilipinas, nandito sila sa Malaysia, working hard and sending money to their loved ones dyan po sa Pilipinas. And of course, indirectly or directly, ang overseas Filipino workers, the modern heroes, sabi ni former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, the modern heroes, ang mga OFWs po, no? They are helping, or we are helping the economy of the Philippines via or through our remittances back home. Remittances back home. Alright. Tuloy natin ang scheduled mga topics natin dito po sa Nico, the Real Talk with Nico. Okay, to start with, I just want to announce for the sake of mga kababayan ko dito po sa Sabah, tungkol sa midterm election natin po, which we held ang Pilipinas, conducted the midterm election last May 12. May 12 po, last month. So, according to the COMELEC, office in the office of the Philippine Embassy in Kuala Lumpur, na nandito po, you can get this news also sa Daily Express bukas. Nandito po ang title ko ng news article that I prepared para sa inyong lahat po, at saka for the readers of the Daily Express. Tomorrow's publication is Duterte Alice dominate Malaysian Filipino vote in 2025 elections. Nandito po, I will read to you itong news article. The May 12, 2025 Philippine overseas absentee voting in Malaysia delivered a resounding victory for candidates closely aligned with former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. The result underscores the enduring influence of the Duterte administration among Filipino voters in the country or in Malaysia. Senator Bongo Eki Duterte Ali secured the highest number of votes in the senatorial race, significantly outpowering competitors. This victory, along with the strong proclamation or performance rather of the other Duterte-linked candidates, clearly demonstrates a preference for those perceived as upholding his political policy. The party list result further reinforced this trend. Duterte Youth, a party closely associated with the former president, achieved substantial lead, showcasing its organizational strength and the continued support for Duterte political agenda among Malaysian Filipinos. Despite a relatively low voter turnout of 28.4% 41% or 28.41%. The dominance of Duterte-aligned candidates highlights their significant appeal among participating voters. This suggests that the candidates' political affiliations and their platforms remain crucial factors influencing the voting decision of Filipinos in Malaysia. The total number of registered voters is 9,669. The total number of registered voters included in the canvass is 2,747, and that means voters' turnout is only 28.41%. Nandito po ang mga kandidato nanalo dito sa Malaysia during the midterm election po, no? Karamihan, parang nagawa dito ang mga Filipino voters po, block voting ito po sa kandidato ni Duterte. First on the list is Bongo, who garnered 1,758 votes or 6.47%. Second is De La Rosa Bato, who garnered 1,675 votes. Third is Marcoleta Rodante, who garnered 1,564 votes. And fourth is Bondok Jimmy, who secured 1,427 votes. And the fifth on the list is Rodriguez Attorney Vic with 1,278 votes, followed by Raul Lambino with 1,275 votes, Hilno JV with 1,239 votes, and Salvador Philip Ipe with 1,180 votes. Ibig sabihin, lahat ang mga kandidato ng PDP Laban and guest candidates of the Duterte team na nalo po. And mayroon din dito po, napasok din ang si Mata, Doc Marites with 1,037 votes, si Pastor Kibuloy with 1,095 votes. And on the 11th and the 12th placing, nandito po sa 11 is Aquino Bam with 815 votes, and Gringo Honasan with 798 votes. Talking about party list, Duterte Youth secured 720 votes, followed by Epanaw Sambayanan with 181 votes, Akbayan with 173 votes, OFW 167 votes, and ML 116 votes. So yan po ang resulta ng election results dito po sa Malaysia. Medyo, we have a total of only 9,966 registered voters and only 2,000 plus cast their votes. So, marami din mga problema po we encountered or we heard during the online voting po. Karamihan ng mga Filipinos, they were not able to vote dahil po nahirapan sila sa online registration and polling, no? Hope by next election, and that will be the presidential election come 2028, ma-solve na ito po ang mga problema that we face during the midterm election. And of course, ang mga OFWs, they are only entitled to vote ang senator and one party list. So that's what happened during the midterm election dito po sa Malaysia. All right, at this very point in time, I would like to share with you an article coming from, or I took it from ABS-CBN Network, no? Online news nila po, entitled, Ex-Supreme Council Justice VP Sara impeachment trial can continue in 20th Congress but must start in 90th Congress. Ang detalles po nandito. Former Supreme Court Associate Justice Adolph Ascuña, who drafted the part of the 1987 Constitution on the accountability of public officers, said the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte can continue in the 20th Congress if the Senate starts it before adjourning on June 13. In a Facebook post, as Acuña said, the articles of impeachment must be read at the Senate and serve on the Vice President to trigger the Senate's jurisdiction of the case. Once that happens, the trial will continue into the 20th Congress, which will convene in July or next month. Senate Majority Leader Francis Tolentino has argued that the impeachment case will be dismissed if the 19th Congress adjourns without dispensing of it. Ascuña, who drafted the Article 9 of the 1987 Constitution, said an impeachment trial is a constituent power. He said it does not fall under the rule that unfinished business lapses with the ongoing Congress because the Constitution says the opposite, that the trial must proceed, meaning it must continue until it is finished, as Acuña said. If it cannot proceed if it is made to lapse, since it must proceed, it follows that it does not lapse. In the meantime, he noted that dismissing the case would be a grave violation of Article 9, which mandates the Senate to forthwith convene an impeachment court as soon as possible, or as soon as a complaint signed by at least a third of the members of the House is filed. Forthwith, said Acuña or Ascuña, means immediately and without unreasonable delay, or in the national language official version, agad-agad. Several draft resolutions were said to be seeking the trial's dismissal due to the lack of time. Duterte LD Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa has admitted to initiating one of the drafts. The House the House impeached Duterte February this year, but the Senate failed to act the complaint, saying that it was on break and that the articles of impeachment had not been reported in plenary. The Senate was supposed to have the articles of impeachment read on June 2nd, but the Senate President Francis Chis Escudero rescheduled that to June 11. It means on Wednesday next week. The upper chamber last session before it adjourns. As Acuña said that if the dismissal resolution are actually filed in the Senate adopts them, the dismissal of the impeachment case can still be reversed by the 20th Congress or by the Supreme Court. But only the senators who voted with the majority may request for reconsideration, he added. So yun po. Yun po ang latest news about the impeachment of Inday Sara Duterte. Ang dami mga haka-haka po tungkol sa impeachment trial or impeachment case ito po, no? And this time around, I would like to share with you isang footage po coming from outgoing Senator si Francis Tolentino. And Francis Tolentino is one a senator who is a lawyer by profession po. And if I'm not mistaken, he's the only one senator who has the title of 3 PhD po. Ibig sabihin, matalino ito si outgoing Senator Francis Tolentino. During the interview with him po, no, by the mainstream media dyan po sa Pilipinas just recently, I think it was this morning, he explained po ang issue ng impeachment trial. He explained ang draft resolution reportedly drafted by Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa. No? Yon, the issue of functional dismissal, which Senator Tolentino mentioned last week. No? Kung hindi daw convene itong impeachment trial ni Inday Sara Duterte by next month, July 30 ba yun? Then automatically functional dismissal na po itong impeachment trial. So nandito po ang explanation ni Senator Francis Tolentino. Let's listen to this po. I think you better listen to this properly para at least you will have the understanding or a picture of what is really happened. And kayo na po bahala to decide whether may puntos ba si Senator Francis Tolentino or wala. Dapat ba ituloy ang impeachment or hindi? Ano ba itong draft resolution? So, let's listen to this video footage po, which I recorded para sa inyong lahat.
And without doing anything, when the clock reaches midnight of 12:30 June, tapos na. Even without a formal dismissal, even without a declaration. That is the meaning of functional dismissal.
So,
Patahong motion.
Pero sir, kasi final ho niya yung resolution, kaya ang dating is, teka muna, magbobotohan pa ho ba kayo kung magkukonvene kayo bilang impeachment
Sabihin po nun, ang ibig sabihin po, hindi ba, marami ko dito tangan dito yung nakita ko lang yan sa mga post-post.
Opo.
So ang ibig sabihin po nun, kagaya nung sinabi ko, kasi yung sinabi niya, na-inspire daw siya doon sa sinabi ko.
Opo.
Ang ibig po nun, pag tumakbo yung oras, at nagkaroon ng trial, o hindi nagkaroon ng trial, basta dumating yung clock, yung constitutional clock ng alas 12 ng ating gabi, tapos na yun, even without doing anything. Siguro yung mga ibang mga legal scholars naman, sinasabi na you cannot do that. Marami yung nagsasite na bawal daw po yung sinasabi na motion to dismiss.
Dismiss po.
Opo. So, gusto po nating kasi marami nagsasite ng US jurisprudence, saan sila humuhugot. So, paliwanag, the first time nagkaroon ng ganyan dismissal, recent vintage lang yan, April 17, 2024. Si Secretary, kahit i-research na ito, si Secretary Mayorkas ng Department of Homeland Security nag-move si Senator Schumer sa US Senate to dismiss the articles of impeachment. So natapos po kagad yun, hindi na natapos yung proceedings, nag-motion to dismiss na lang sa US Senate. Nag-dismiss yung kaso noong Secretary without a full trial. Without a full trial, nagbutuhan po yung US Senate 51 to 49.
So na-dismiss.
2 articles of impeachment against Secretary Mayorkas. Ito po yung panahon ito ng Biden administration po ata ito.
So yung US setting kasi sinasite dito kasi pagka po wala tayong jurisprudence, ay ina-adapt natin or sinusundan natin yung sa bansa po.
Ina-adapt natin ang US rules kasi yung ating impeachment rules ay halaw sa US Senate. At ang US Senate naman ay halaw po sa British Parliament. Kaya yung nagsasabi naman na kung continuing body. Yung kadahilanan po noon kasi halaw po nga yan sa British Parliament. Yung British Parliament, 2 houses. House of Commons and House of Lords.
Aha. Sir,
House of Commons, yung nagpa-file, yung House of Lords, perpetual sila. For life po sila, kaya continuing sila.
Okay. Sir, ito po, kasi ang dami hong abogado, magagaling na abogado, kagaya ninyo, iba-iba ho yung pananaw. Yung sinasabi po ninyo na functionally dismissed ito, pag dating ng June 30, in effect, mawawala ng bisa yung impeachment court dahil malulusad na yung 19th Congress. Who will decide po kung itutuloy o hindi sa 20th Congress yung paglilitis?
Paano ba? Pakiulit kayo.
Opo, Senator, sino po ang magdedesisyon nun kung magtutuloy o hindi ang trial sa 20th Congress?
Tingnan niyo po ito. Pag sinabi po ng 19th Congress ngayon na functionally dismissed, ang ibig sabihin, wala kaming ibibigay, ipapasa sa 20th Congress kasi hindi naman namin, wala kaming kapangyarihan magbigay ng jurisdiction sa next Congress. Only the Constitution or law can vest jurisdiction on the Congress to have jurisdiction. Wala pong ganung batas. Yung lahat po ng nagsasabi ngayon, jurisdiction ang 20th Congress, ang succeeding Congress, ay wala naman pong maipakitang provision sa ating saligang batas. Kaya ang sinasabi ko po noon, show me a provision in the Constitution, 1987 Constitution, that would point to the words carry over. Wala.
Pero sir,
opinion lang po sila yun. So ganito naman po yung isang magiging issue dyan. If the 19th Congress will issue a declaration concerning jurisdiction, it is as if they have exercised jurisdiction. How can you have a preliminary determination if you have jurisdiction or not? If you do not have jurisdiction. So wala naman pong makakaalis sa kanila na magsabi na wala silang jurisdiction or may jurisdiction. Subalit, yung ating sinasabi po ay pag nag-lapse po yung 19th Congress, tapos na po yung kaso. So, ang sinasabi ng iba, bakit hindi nyo simulan ngayon?
Yun na po.
Sa Bisaya, karon. Alam niyo po, pwedeng gawin talaga yun. Nothing will prevent the 19th Congress from adopting a rules of procedure for an expedited impeachment trial. Kaya pong tapusin yan. Kaya pong tapusin yan ng 19 days. Simula sa June 11.
Ba't hindi na lang yun ang gawin, sir?
Opo.
Kasi, ba't hindi yun ang gawin nga po, sir? Sir, kasi, merong like si Senator Drilon, former Senator Drilon, sabi niya, kagaya ng binanggit nyo, kaya naman siyang tapusin actually. Kaya lang ho, ang nakakatagal, kasi nandun sa impeachment rules, na paulit-ulit na binanggit ni Senate President Escudero is, nasa impeachment rules, yung respondent, the Vice President will be given days within which to submit answer, tapos pasasagutin ng prosecutors. So, sa exchanges na yun, kakain na ng oras, pagsasara na talaga. Pero, kung tutusin, you can amend your rules po and make it 2 days na lang.
Kaya po. Inaral ko po, ilang araw mo na pong inaaral yan Under the Constitution, nothing can prevent the Senate from promulgating its own rules. Inagalang po yan ng Supreme Court. And nothing can prevent the Senate, the 19th Congress, from adopting or amending a new impeachment rule so long as it will not affect the substantive rights of the respondent here.
Due process pa rin.
So yung 10 days, may existing rules tayo 2011 na ginamit ng corona impeachment na 10 days. Ika lang po yun. Pero kung titingnan niyo po, pwedeng ma-expedite. Bigyan ko kayo ng halimbawa. I-drop na ako. I-drop po ako ngayon. So, i-constitute ang impeachment court sa June 11. Tapos 10 days pa rin yung submission ng answer ng respondent. Tapos kung mag-reply yung prosecutors June 22. Submission to trial brief June 23. Tapos opening statement na rin sa hapon. Opening statement sa hapon ng June 23. Anong araw ba yung June 23?
June 23 Monday, sir. Maiiwan na lang po hanggang 30.
Patapos niyo po ako.
Sige,
Patapos niyo po ako. Presentation of evidence on the part of the prosecution, June 24 to 25.
Opo.
Ang defense ay June 25 to 26. Kung nila kailangan ng rebuttal, ibigay yung June 27 sa rebuttal AM, PM, prosecution, PM and defense. June 28, 1 hour each, oral arguments, defense, at saka prosecution. Pagkatapos, June 29, mag-meeting kami ng closed door. June 30, render a judgment.
Nailatag yun na ho ba ito, Senator Tolentino, kay Senator Escudero? I-formalize.
Ako po ang chairman ng Committee on Rules, hindi pa naman na-refer sa amin kasi yung impeachment. Pero bukas siguro, pwede kong banggitin yung expedited impeachment trial. Hindi naman summary procedure ito. We'll meet 15 days. Pero we need the cooperation of the prosecution. Paano pa?
Alright, yan po ang explanation ni Senate Majority Leader Senator Francis Tolentino. And outgoing na yun po si Francis Tolentino. He didn't make it sa midterm election. And he's the, I think, only senator with three PhD titles po sa international law. So, anong tingin ninyo po? Anong tingin ninyo po ang explanation ni outgoing Senator Francis Tolentino? And anyway, whatever you decide or whatever you think about ang statement ni outgoing Senator Francis Tolentino, ang bottom line dyan po, no, is we are going to know ang matuloy ba o hindi matuloy ang impeachment sa Wednesday, June 11. But the question is, ano ba talaga ang root cause ng itong impeachment ni Inday Sara Duterte? Dahil ba sa confidential fund? Dahil ba sa corruption, na may allegation of corruption done by the Vice President na si Inday Sara Duterte? Or ano ba talaga? Sa palagay ninyo po, ano talaga? No? Ano talaga? Now, let me share you. I think this will be my last footage po. Let me share you ang interview ni Inday Sara Duterte. It was done few months ago po. No? And nandito po, I will share it to you now, ang video clip, and she's explaining ang rason. That's how she look at it. Ang rason why itong may case tayo sa impeachment kay Inday Sara Duterte po. Dahil ba ang conflict between the Marcoses and the Dutertes, or what reason? What reason po? So let's listen to this. Ang previous interview of Inday Sara Duterte regarding the issue of the conflict between Sara Duterte and the Marcoses po. Let's listen to this. And tapos yan po, kayo nang bahala po to decide. To decide. Or jump or make your conclusion po. Let's listen to this.
Alam sa kanila. Basta kami, inaantay lang namin ang kanilang gagawin dahil expected na yon na gagawin nila. Kasi ano ba ang gusto nilang gawin? Gusto nilang pabagsakin ang pamilya Duterte sa politika. At hindi lang siguro politika, sa personal din. Dahil sinama nga nila yung asawa ko di ba? He's a private individual, pero sinama nila sa harassment nila. Example lang, kung ano yung, kumbaga, playbook. Doon kay President Rodrigo Duterte, nakikita nyo, di ba? Merong quad committee ng House of Representatives na iniimbestigahan yung kanyang mga desisyon noong siya ay Pangulo pa. Tapos meron tayong ICC na complaint against sa kanya. Tapos merong plunder cases na final against President Duterte. Tapos doon tayo papunta sa akin. Hinahabol-habol nila yung confidential funds. In fact, nung sinabi ko to express goodwill, sabi ko, at saka para hindi na tayo magkagulo, o sige na, we'll shoot blind sa projects namin. Huwag na natin gamitan ng confidential funds. Pwede pa rin naman yan, pero mas mahirap. Kasi you cannot purchase information. You cannot give rewards. Hindi mo mamahahanap kung ano yung tinatarget mo sa security issues and peace and order. Tapos, itong impeachment na pinag-uusapan nila. Tapos narinig nyo, di ba? Anong play ni Castro? Ang sabi niya, kukunin namin lahat ng mga papeles sa loob ng COA. Saan ka naman nakahanap ng constitutional body, constitutional commission, at ang House of Representatives, uutusan niya ang isang independent commission na ibigay mo yan lahat sa akin. Ano, sila ang mag-audit? Hindi pa nga tapos yung audit. Pero alam na natin, nahahabulin nila dyan ang paninira nila sa akin. Tapos, pumunta tayo doon sa aking kapatid at sa aking asawa. Pinailan nila ng drug smuggling cases. Based on name dropping, based on chismis, based on hearsay. So nakikita ninyo yung gusto nilang mangyari. They want to project the family as corrupt, as criminals, as walang kwentang mga tao, kundi para sa pansarili lang nila. And bakit pa? Bakit? And all because, sinabi ko na dati, we are a threat to the perpetuation in power of people na interesado maging, sabihin na natin, Prime Minister, kung matuloy yung niluluto nilang tsa-tsa, o President, kung hindi maluto yung tsa-tsa nila.
Alright, John, ang recorded interview of Inday Sara Duterte regarding ang issue ng conflict between the Marcoses and the Dutertes. And dahil dyan po sa conflict na nandyan pa ang mga kaso ngayon against kay former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, who is now dyan sa custody of the International Criminal Court and facing charges or complaints on criminal complaint on humanity, no? Violation of humanity daw ng mga offenses ni Tatay Digong. And of course, ang impeachment trial of Inday Sara Duterte, yon po ang confidential funds, yon allegation of corruption, and so forth and so on. So at least now, nakita natin po kung ano ang dahilan. Ano ang dahilan. I managed to again show to you ang video clip ni Inday Sara Duterte when she spoke a few months ago. Hindi ito po kahapon lang po, no? Ang video clip that I just shared with you dito po sa NikTok, The Real Talk with Nico. But anyway, as what I said, hintayin natin ang June 11. Ilang tulog na lang tayo po. Tomorrow is already Monday, and Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is the date that we should look forward to para malalaman na natin. Dami na mga haka-haka tungkol sa impeachment of Inday Sara Duterte, impeachment trial, and we have seen both senators, politicians, lawyers, dami mga lawyers, dami mga media commentators saying pros and cons, no? Negative and positive criticism on this issue ng impeachment trial of Inday Sara Duterte. As what I said, hintayin natin po sa June 11. So, siguro hanggang dito na lang po ang programa natin, NikTok, The Real Talk with Nico. And once again, magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. And I will make sure na whatever updates mayroon tayo po, I will make sure that you are going to be updated. So, as always, ito po, si Nico Fabian once again would like to say, thank you very much for making me a part of your day today. Malaysia, Sabah, the Philippines, God bless us all, and I'll see you in my next episode. Bye.